it's going to be hard for you to play the Morphling in these team fights against the Elder Titan. And also, look how tanky they are as well. Like, the front line in the Elder Titan and the Dragon Knight, and even an Enchantress, like, how are you supposed to try and burst through these heroes if you're Vici Gaming?
With great difficulty, Luke. With great difficulty. One thing that's also great about this ET in this game, whenever you have a Mars available, dropping down the ET combo during the arena does complicate life for the Mars in the pre-BKB phase of the game. This is a very interesting idea. I like what I'm seeing here for Z-Freak. Also means that if this is, like you're saying earlier, the safe lane Shadow Fiend, unless they swap it up at the very end of the draft, that does not seem like a lane I want to play into. Like either Shadow Fiend Enchantress, DK ET, my god. These are not fun lanes whatsoever for the side of Vici Gaming. But we still have to see at the very end of the draft. We're looking for mid heroes now here, Fluke. Lina taken away by the side of Nouns. Vici, remove the Puck, remove the Pango. They do not want the Pango chaos in tandem with this ET, and they do not want to give them easy access to a big Echo Stomp with the Puck ban out. What do you want to see here coming in from the mid lane for the side of Nouns? For XM, what is... feels like they also need reach as well from the side of Vici Gaming, right? Pretty much all their dynamism right now is coming from the Mars, and I don't want to put that much pressure onto BAB either.
Oh, Pugna. I haven't seen too much Pugna recently, so I mean, I'm down for this. I'm definitely down to see what this Pugna can do here. Obviously, it gives you a whole lot of that magic burst amplification as well with the decrep. It's really hard for them to kind of fight around a lot of these areas that the Pugna and the Undying want to control, right? Like you've got Tombstone, you've got the Nether Ward. It just goes into a position where if Nouns are trying to come into the area of Vici Gaming and Vici Gaming is set up, it's going to be also hard to try and deal with this Tombstone Nether Ward kind of combination. I like what they've got going for here, but it's very much everything is in the Morphling basket right now, whereas Nouns have a little bit more of extra options. And they're going to go for a lone Druid to finish it. Oh. All right, so a tri-core going up against a single core. I mean, I like the balls coming in from Nouns. I'm going to say that here. I'm going to be real. This is a whole lot of balls that comes in from these guys right now. They pick the Shadow Fiend, where Gunnar is usually one of these players that picks these kind of carry mid laners, and now they're going to couple it up with Moo picking up the Dragon Knight and then the lone Druid to circle it out as well. So, I mean, this is going to be an interesting kind of tri-core versus single core kind of matchup here for our game number one.
It's a very interesting matchup. It gives them more push power as well coming in from that lone Druid. Allows Gunnar to, the mid lane matchup between himself and this Pugna. Sure, Pugna does have access to that Nether Ward, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to really detract from what Gunnar can accomplish in that mid lane. Like you mentioned, it's a 3 versus 1 tri-core situation. And to make matters even worse here, Fluke, the tri-core that they have on the side of Nouns also gets buffs, right? The ET helps tremendously. Yes, it's a lot of physical damage primarily from this draft, but given that, looking at the side of Vici Gaming, a lot of these heroes can be susceptible to some of that physical damage. Even the Pugna, right? Pugna does not enjoy having to deal with like mechanics like the fear, for example. You get feared and it doesn't take that long for the side of Nouns to be able to kill you quite quickly. The one drawback of their lineup is they don't have that much forward momentum. They only really have reach coming out of this DK, but if they can get like a big ball going on the side of Nouns, I actually don't see how Vici Gaming can stop that. Now that we've seen all the picks though, Fluke, we have 10 heroes on the field. We have 1 best of 3 on the way. Which team are you going to be giving the W here for game number 1?
I was coming into this series, obviously, as Nouns being the massive underdogs, and I really do like the meme of NA Dota or Mega LOL. So I think at this point, I don't know. I really like the draft that comes in from Nouns. I actually really like this tri-core they've got going for them. It might be a little bit too greedy for me, but I'm looking towards Vici Gaming about how they're really going to punish this. If XM has a good lane on the Pugna, they're able to take a few towers here. They can get some team fights going and walk around as this kind of 4-core until Erica comes online with a few items. Then they can start getting this game going. But I don't know. I'm feeling like a little bit of an upset here. It seems like the later these series goes, maybe the upsets are on the cards.
I personally really like Vici Gaming. They've surprised me so many times, even by dint of being here over and above squads like CDC, IG, as the Aries. However, I've seen Erica lose too many games on this Morphling. I've had my heart broken too many times by the Erica Morph. And you and I were talking off camera about where Vici Gaming is right now, and I kind of feel they do their best when XM is their primary win condition rather than Erica. In this game, like you mentioned earlier, Erica is everything. This Morphling is the draft. Yeah. So I have to go for Nouns as well. But you all know how that goes. 2 casters agreeing on which team should win. I would put my money on Vici Gaming then as a result.
Yeah, definitely. It's usually, that's how it goes, right? Like as soon as people start to agree on something, it's going to go completely opposite way. You watch this, it's going to be XM. He's going to pull out some of the weirdest kind of Pugna stuff we've ever seen. But I'm interested to see how this mid lane's going to go with the Shadow Fiend versus Pugna. Pugna can do a really good job at kind of matching the Shadow Fiend's pace. Like, in days of old with the Shadow Fiend, just, you know, you spam out the razors, you go towards the small camp, you kind of just constantly get that rinse and repeat, whereas Pugna can constantly counter shove the wave as well. So it's like XM's really not going to have that pressure where usually you see these Shadow Fiends, they push out the wave, they put the pressure on the tower, they rotate towards the jungle, and then you have this kind of external clock that gets put on you, whereas the Pugna can kind of counter push it and then do his own stuff as well. So we're really interested to see who kind of gets the most out of that mid lane, about whether or not XM makes those rotations towards the safe lane to try and push out Costabile.
Speaking of Costabile, he's down bottom with the rest of his crew and the bear, just making sure that they have some scouting vision and they'll be able to secure a bounty rune. Will they be able to get both? Looks like it's just going to be nice 3-1 in exchange for Vici Gaming. Good start to the game for them. Unfortunately, the side of Nouns did overcommit to this one in the river, but still gonna get something. He'll be okay. So we're long gone are the days here, Fluke, where 3 bounty runes guarantees easy win for the game. Just makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world just yet, which is always a nice little start. You know, I never really liked the meta where, you know, the first like 5-10 minutes of the laning phase was kind of the end all and be all, and those 3 bounty runes definitely felt like it was kind of the way it's going. I really like how the meta's been kind of evolving across these last gen's qualifiers, how the games have kind of slowed down a little bit here. It feels like it's much more kind of carry-focused meta. Yeah, heroes like Marcy and Primal Beast are kind of super high in priority, but I really do feel like that a lot of these carry players and these mid laners are really going to be the kind of end-all and be-all for a lot of these teams throughout TI.
Well, we do have a little bit of action happening in this top lane. It's just going to be harass fest for the most part, right? We're not really anticipating that none of these heroes should realistically be dying just yet. They'll be trading as much as humanly possible, but Mu gets super tanky. Sucks to deal with the Undying, but as long as he plays carefully, shouldn't really die. It's level 1 right now, but he'll get to a point where he just doesn't die anymore. He'll be okay. Yeah.
It should be okay, especially once he starts getting a lot of levels in this Dragon's Blood. But we've seen how strong Undying has been as a laner. Like he's like one of those oppressive laners too, right? It's not like you are getting a lot of these kills early on. He's more like a mental damage kind of support. Speaking of mental damage, it's gonna hurt.
That's gonna hurt a lot. Yang got to level 2 before the DK could, so no access to the Dragon's Blood. And Yang very happy to drop the Tombstone to get this kill. Z-Freak's in danger as well. Will Yang decide to die for this one? It looks like he's gonna go the circuitous route, and Z-Freak is in danger here. He's got mangoes. The creep wave is being tanked up. They're tanking up the tower shots. Z-Freak, is he gonna die? No. He jukes his way through the trees, and he'll end up being fine. Nonetheless, though, they still got themselves the first blood. And worst case scenario here, Fluke, it went the way of the Erica Morphling. And look at this damage that they're putting back onto Yang, though. They actually get the counter kill.
The sick body blocks coming in from Mu. That's when you know that they are kind of just finessing on people right now. So that's the kind of response that we saw coming in from Mu and Z-Freak is always nice. And as you said, right, like the first blood going the way of Erica is exactly what you want for Vici Gaming. You want to try and give this Morphling as much of these resources as possible. That's why I'm really looking towards kind of what XM's going to do early on once he gets a few of these levels. You get a whole lot of levels in this now, the blast, you're able to pressure the tower, you're able to put a, you know, have these rotations. You get a power rune at the 4-minute mark. If he gets like a haste rune or an arcane rune, it's going to be very scary for these side lanes, especially if XM makes a rotation, gets an early tower, and then Erica kind of gets the map unlocked for himself. And that's why I'm really looking towards to see what Vici Gaming are going to do once it hits towards about that 10-minute mark to see how many of these towers they can get and how much space they can give Erica.
Erica needs all the space on planet Earth. Fortunately, right now, Yang is providing it for him. And speaking about XM, here he is in the mid lane contesting against Gunnar. Thus far, very, very close. No real surprises with how this matchup is looking at the moment. No points into the Nether Ward from XM because, you know, it's too early for that. You'll maybe get the 1 value point in a couple of levels. For now, though, does this just stay until somebody comes from one of the side lanes to assist middle? Does this just stay a far more in this mid lane?
I think Gunnar definitely has a whole lot more kill threat on XM pre-level 6 just because of how good Shadow Razors are now. Like, if XM ever gets himself into a bad position, but like, Pugna is the fastest hero in the game. And he has boots now on XM. So he is oh so hard to try and catch all of these razors. Gunnar's doing a really good job hitting double razors on the Pugna, considering that he doesn't have boots as well. So it's like, he does have a lot of kill threat, but I think until this lane gets towards level 6 for XM, it's probably just going to be a farm more until we see some rotations.
Farm. Our favorite thing to see.
It's mid lane is, you know, favorite time, but unfortunately for everybody else watching, it's a bit of a snooze fest.
One thing that has been nice about the last chance qualifiers is we've seen a lot more movement around and towards this mid lane. So we're not just having these uber static farmy lanes. And down bottom though, ooh, Costa Vile. Nice fear coming in there. He was moments away from being pinned towards a tree and tanking quite a bit of damage. They were able to recognize from the side of Vici that they do not have the ET down bottom to protect him. However, Lone Druid, Fear. I sometimes wonder if this spell should be available as early as it is, but whatever, it's fine.
Speaking of the fear, something I want to touch on with the shard coming in from the Lone Druid as well. The best thing about this Lone Druid pick is if the main hero ever gets speared and the bear is in a good spot, the fear will be able to save him 9 times out of 10 unless there's BKB coming in from BAB. So I think this Lone Druid pick is going to have a lot of savability from himself, especially once he gets towards that 15-minute mark and the shards get unlocked. So mid lane.
We do have a little bit of pressure coming in towards mid as XM. You just mentioned it, that at any given point in time, he's mispositioned, or if there's a rotation mid, he can find himself getting killed. It was the latter that ended up happening, and Z-Freak and XM dance around each other so that Gunnar can get the kill. So that's always feels good as the SF. He can also apply pressure now with the Sea Dragon wave coming in. Yang will be here to apply a little bit of defense, but he should be careful. One more raise will kill him, and Husky gets the vision with his Spirit. Echo Storm will be dodged out, but Gunnar should be able to find the final raise. No, he can't. Gets decrept, so he's slowed down, can't close the range, and now here comes Frisk. Fire Snap Cookie into the Scatter Blast. Underneath the tier 1 tower, Shadow Fiend loses his life. All the Vici heroes ready to respond in this mid lane, and now they might even be able to go for more. Husky, Echo Stomp will come out. It will stop XM, but Yang will not be dissuaded. Couple more seconds until a decay, a few more seconds until a blast as well. There's no way to escape this one. As XM gets another kill in this game, Vici Gaming pick up another around the mid. And what a response from them to the death of the Pugna in the mid lane.
Yeah, it was just a good rotation. I think, unfortunately for Gunnar, he got a little bit baited by Husky, hoping that Husky would hit that Shadow Ray, hit the Echo Stomp, and then XM certainly would have not been able to rotate the way that he did, and they were able to get their kill on Yang. But missing the Echo Stomp, and then Gunnar was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. He gets decurved underneath the tower, and then at that point, he's kind of pump faking Requiem and couldn't really hit anybody with it. And it's kind of one of those feels bad deaths, right? Where you say, that would have worked if we were just a few units left or right, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Gunnar's not going to be too sad about that one.
Suddenly, though, after that, the supports have not vacated this mid lane. So we're actually playing try v try in this situation. Vici Gaming were thinking about applying more pressure towards the tier 1. But this support battle for vision, for kills, for everything, they are just doing the most. Eventually, though, Z-Freak will head back towards the top lane, because I think Vici Gaming are very, very happy to play this sort of static. All our supports are middle. We have side lanes, 1v1s. Everybody is very content with the situation. Erica happy to farm against the DK, knows that he can't really die by himself. In fact, they might be able to get a kill onto Z-Freak here, but Erica is too low on mana to try and make the turnaround, even though Yang did have Tombstone available.
Yeah, I really like what Z-Freak did as well, understanding that once Mu is able to get towards this Elder Dragon form, that's when it really starts getting a bit scary for the Morphling here on Erica. Like, obviously, he's able to constantly just stick in the lane with that Dragon's Blood, but as soon as he gets the Dragon form, that's when he's really able to kind of put the extra bit of pressure back on the Morphling and maybe have to get a little bit of an advantage going his way. But now, the fact that he's given the level 6, he's got level 4 here on himself as well, so I really like that Z-Freak understood that this lane is going to be kind of whatever as long as the Undying's not top, and if he's walking around towards mid, that's where it starts getting scary.
Ooh, speaking of mid, Fire Snap Cookie onto the Shadow Fiend, and he gets drained to death by XM. XM wants another one. Echo Stomp, though, holds him in his tracks. Can they defend him here on the side of Vici Gaming? He's going to try drain himself to victory. Will not be allowed to do so. Frisk, at the very least, finishing off Z-Freak on the side. So a 2-for-1 engagement here in this mid lane. Husky with the Haste Rune, able to make a small turnaround and kill XM. But nonetheless, the Pugna gets the experience for killing the Shadow Fiend. That's yet another situation where Gunnar unable to survive the skirmishing that's happening in this mid lane.
Yeah, that's kind of downside about Shadow Fiend, right? Like, he's got no mobility, so if he ever gets caught out by a Fire Snap Cookie and a Decrepify, he's always going to go down. So this is where you're really looking towards, like, some of these other heroes to start making their rotation. I think Husky kind of has to be in the right place at the right time. Both these side laners are going to be very, very self-sufficient, so he doesn't actually have to be in any of these lanes. And I think it's really looking towards to see what Z-Freak and Husky do together to be able to put a lot of pressure back on towards this mid lane. And this is what I talked about with the Pugna, right? Like, if you ever give him this extra bit of an advantage, get this extra bit of kills, then he can start putting the pressure back on the tower. And once he takes his tier 1 tower, that's when he can choose which side lane you want to go to. You're probably going to end up going towards BAB's lane here to try and get a kill on the Costabile, force him back up to the triangle, so you can get this trade of the tier 1 towers on the top and bottom side of the map.
Costabile is way ahead of you. He's already vacated the bottom lane because he's like, nope, 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 nope. I want nothing to do with this. I'm going to go join up with my DK between the Elder Dragon form as well as the Bear. We should be able to put pressure on the tower, but reinforcements are a coming. Both supports as well as the XM Pugna are en route. They come across Z-Freak first and foremost. Will they be able to kill him? Decrep will be there. Fire Snap Cookie. Yo! There used to be an Enchantress there. There isn't now. Costabile looking for revenge though. Gets an initial route, but Yang drops a tombstone on the western part of the fight, forcing them to try and deal with it first. They are able to kill it relatively easily as Erica goes in, steals the Dragon Knight form, trying to throw back a Dragon Tail stun. Won't be able to reach him just yet though, as Moo finds himself at the very least bailed out by Husky with the Echo Storm, stopping the drain coming in from XM. But Moo still has some danger towards him. Needs to be careful. Erica gets out with the waveform. Looks like Vici might have run out of tools to take this fight. Fear yet again interrupting the XM drain. He will drop a pretty big Nether Blast, but with the stun and the surround of 4 heroes, he will eventually end up taking a tumble. Here comes Gunner as well, finding a big Requiem onto the Morphling. He was on high Agi. He got feared into his death. Yang is probably going to follow him into the grave as well. And Vici Gaming have lost 4 heroes in the top lane, and BAB has shown up. He might make that 5. They've scouted him out. They've taken the tower. The Mars is now also being corralled into the worst corner ever. He is certainly going to end up dying here. And all of a sudden here, Fluke, Vici thought they were defending, but instead they were giving away a full 5-hero wipe.
Yeah, during that entire fight, I was watching BAB. He was putting a lot of pressure towards that tier 1 tower, and I think it got to that kind of point where he was like, oh, this is okay, as long as we don't lose too many of our players here, I'm going to be able to put pressure on this tier 1 tower, hopefully get the trade. But then it got to that awkward point where he realized that the team fight wasn't going their way, TP'd way too late towards the end. Like, he had Arena, he had full mana, he could have TP'd super early and tried to get the team fight going their way, but then he TP's at the end, he gets caught by the Spirit, and to me, that just felt really disconnected from Vici Gaming. Like, it really felt like that they wanted to try and defend that tower, but not everyone was ready for the defense at that point. They were kind of going in one by one, a little bit of save your mate syndrome. And then eventually it just kind of fed a little bit too much. Now they've lost so many towers. They've lost 2 tier 1 towers now, 11 minutes into the game. Yes, they lost their own mid-tier 1, but you can just see what Costabile is able to do, right? Z-Freak takes over this jungle. Costabile goes in. Now BAB is going to try and get it back.
He's gotten himself inside the arena here. They catch out the Enchantress, so this should be a quick kill onto Z-Freak, but Z-Freak is looking at the situation and saying, well, they committed a tombstone, they committed the full arena, there's 3 heroes surrounding me. Cool. I'm fine with this. I don't really care if I'm going to commit my life in that fashion. And he already finished the power trace before going down anyway, so a moot point. Enchantress still feels good. And XM needs to be bailed out from this mid lane. That was kind of scary. You know, we were talking earlier about just how quickly nouns can just start taking real estate if they get any kind of advantage. And we just saw it now. They bounced from the top lane to the mid lane to trying to take control of this small entrance area into the dire triangle. They did this in like 90 seconds. This draft can just move so quickly. So you're talking about the disconnect from Vici. They can't afford for this to happen again. But we have, fortunately, from Vici Gaming, seen from the captaincy of Yang that sometimes the early game will look a little bit shaky, but he'll drop some instructions, some commands deeper into the game that allows them to get back on track. Unfortunately, they haven't lost too much in terms of net worth at the moment, right? Erica's still very high up there, so is XM, and BAB might not be the most farmed hero on the map, but he's still making decent timing and progress towards his Blink Dagger. So it's not a great place to be, but there's still a lot to come from the side of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm really looking towards Vici Gaming for the next couple of minutes to see what they're going to do with these next couple of teamfight ultimates, right? Like with the next arena, you want to see if you can try and get one of these big heroes. The first Roche is going to be pretty big for them to try and defend, especially if they've still got these only tier 2 towers left remaining. Like if they lose this bottom tier 1 tower and then Nouns go in and get themselves a free Roche, and they're just going to walk towards these tier 2 towers, and it's really going to put a lot more pressure on Vici Gaming, especially because at this point, like, we see Erica is rushing a Lincoln Sphere. So Erica is still not going to be ready to fight for a long time on this Morphling, and that's why I really want to see them kind of utilize a lot of their team fight ultis to really try and get a bit more of this real estate back and try and put the pressure back on. Like, they're not behind in net worth, but they still need to make sure they understand that they've still got, you know, another 15 or so minutes until Erica on this Morphling is going to be scary.
I was actually going to ask you about the Lincoln Sphere coming in from him as the first item instead of the Yasha to farm with. I suppose he did stop off for the Falcon Blade as a stat item, but you know, he did that in lieu of getting boots first. Somewhat interesting. I suppose he's really scared of getting Dragon Tail stunned. But the reason I was going to ask you about this is you can still die, right? They still have like Requiem, Fear, Echo Storm, Elder Titan, Earth Splitter, Impetus Shot from the Enchantress. None of these things get blocked by the Lincoln Sphere. Don't you think BKB might have been a better option for him?
I'm so torn by it because I do like the fact that it kind of stops him from, because obviously like Moo's getting very close to his Blink Dagger, so that's the only like quick initiation. Speaking of Moo though, he's getting stuck in the bottom lane.
Yep,
okay,
getting drained up. He was a little bit too far forward there from the rest of his team. Didn't necessarily have adequate vision of who was coming in for him. XM very happy to get that kill. It'll contribute to the gold fund of picking up a Dagon. Nice kill to be able to pick up. That's always going to be a threat though, right? Coming in from this Pugna. Just no matter how tanky you are, you always underestimate just how much damage Pugna does in the earlier portions of the game.
Yeah, Decrep plus any kind of spells, considering the fact that they have a Snapfire as well. That's why I really like this kind of Snapfire team fight kind of hero. So much damage she's able to do, especially from a distance as well. So all you have to do is catch somebody out with a Decrep and then you get the kisses in. Kind of circling back to the Lincolns, I think it's good in the way that it stops him from getting caught out by that blink instant initiation of the Dragon Tail, whereas the other kind of forms of initiation are a little bit slower. So, a bit of a team fight going here, BAB.
Okay. Yet again. Oh wait, that was so sick. Costabile interrupts the Snapfire Cookie from Frisk by literally fearing him mid-air, allowing the escape for Z-Freak. Yet again, another arena does end up being committed. This sucks a lot though, Fluke. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but the Blink Dagger literally just emerged from BAB. But because of the fact that they committed this arena, they can't utilize this on the map instantly. They can't like smoke up for an insta-play. They have to wait the full minute for the cooldown. Kind of annoying, and I think Nouns, yeah, they recognize this. They know that they can't fight right now, so now it's our time to shine. We also just got a Blink Dagger on Moo, so the DK wants to go in and unleash his prowess on the map. It's just unfortunate that they don't really have vision of where Vici Gaming is right now.
Yeah, they only got really wards on their own side of the map, so don't really understand who's going where. It looks like they're just going to try and get themselves a nice little juicy yang in the mid lane.
Easy kill onto the Undying. BAB, 30 seconds still without the arena. Goes in to throw in the token spear. Not necessarily going to connect onto anybody. And XM trying to defend this nether ward. He knows it's going to be destroyed anyway. Well, now that they have the 4v5, are they just going to mosey into the Roshan pit? Indeed they are. Costabile just picked up a Desolator as well on this Lone Druid Bear. Between that and the Shadow Fiend direct presence, but hold that thought, mid lane, they're trying to just force a fight onto BAB. Requiem comes out from Gunner, doesn't connect onto anybody. So BAB is still able to run away 1 second until he can blink, and he will be able to do so. Now suddenly it's Nouns that don't have the big team fight spell in the Requiem, so they can't occupy the Roshan pit.
Yeah, it's both teams kind of understand that there's certain timings they want to hit, but now that BAB has his Blink Dagger, they have Arena back up as well. Same with the Kisses. Might look to try and make a go here. Probably want to wait until this Dragon form has gone from Mood though. They can get this fight going. As you said, there's no Requiem, there's no Dragon form now as well. So Vici Gaming catch that Costabile here. This could be bad. I'm just going to just get away from him. Moo though.
Might catch Moo though. Moo is definitely in danger. Can they find him? Yes, they can. They get the arena, spear him towards the wall. The damage is certainly going to be there. He's going to try and close the gap to the Pugna so he can Dragon Tail him. But that is not going to work out. Too much interference from the supports in front of him. And Vici Gaming able to bring down this Dragon Knight. At the same time, down bottom, Erica and Gunner just playing footsies with each other. Farming this area. Gunner forced to just push back this wave. Vici feeling very good about this. Moments ago, they were in danger of losing out on the Roshan, but now things are starting to look a lot more recoverable from them. 3k gold lead in their favor. They've just picked up the Dagon 2 as well from the Pugna. And most of this map starting to slowly but surely get to a point where Vici are feeling more comfortable, especially with how much more farm Erica is getting for himself.
Yeah, Erica is really getting into a good spot right now. Vici Gaming have done a good job to not lose too much of the map. I think that's the big thing right now. And Z3, he's going to go down.
Oof, very dead. Okay. Damn, very dead. His team is coming in though, potentially looking for vengeance. Not so sure how easily they can find this. There's a tombstone on the high ground. Once the snake breaks, they will be spotted out. Costabile gets hit with some of these zombies. They know what's happening. XM, BAB, and Frisk attempting to flee on the north part of the fight. Can XM get out of here? The TP attempt, the fear misses. The Dragon Tail will not though. He was almost out, 0.2 seconds away from safety. However, Dota 2 is a game of margins, and this margin not favorable for the Pugna.
I was almost about to sing the praises of XM there. Vici Gaming did do a really, really good job at just hiding around everything that comes in from nouns. They did a really good job at just disengaging from that fight. Obviously, they lose XM. They're still going to look for more, though. I think they understand how important this Roche is going to be. Oh my god!
He gets the arena with the Morty's kisses. Costabile is gone in a blink of an eye. Gunner, BKB activated, trying to throw out the Requiem. Won't be able to find a good angle though. And Husky's already used the ET splitter. And now that Gunner's BKB is gone, Costabile, his death means that they're going to be playing 4 versus 5 for a moment as XM has returned. Erica now feeling safe to go into the Roshan pit. They've got a tombstone drop down as some degree of insurance and safety. How on earth will Nouns be able to approach this one? XM waddling his way over as he doesn't have access to the TP. We see a spear back onto Z-Freak. Doesn't connect onto the however. BAB won't be able to kill him. Frisk misses with the fire snap quickie. And Roche falling lower and lower and lower. Erica very much incentivized to try and finish this one off. Gunner, will he be able to find a good Requiem? No, he won't. Z-Freak bursted down by XM with the Dagon. And he has the Requiem channeled out. Adapter Strike cancels the TP home. Gunner is in danger. They've caught BAB on the north part of the fight though. They will be able to kill the Mars, but they want the big prize in the Shadow Fiend, and they are going to get him. XM in the meantime though, now caught out by Mu and Costabile. Oh, he's still alive for the moment. He's still living. Fluke, he's not dead. XM's going to get out of here. How on earth did he make that happen? And now it's instead Mu that's going to end up dying. Slowed down by the decrypt. You came on me, but XM says, well, I'm taking your life away instead. As Vici Gaming get the team fight, they get the Roshan, they get the Aegis, and they also have taken command of this game.
Oh my god, Vici Gaming. They are dancing around Nouns. Nouns have been in a pretty commanding, I don't want to say like overly commanding position. They were obviously in a good spot, understanding how their draft is going to work out. Vici Gaming are styling on them right now. They are kiting them around. They're dancing around. I don't know how XM survived, to be perfectly honest with you. D crept and just walked around a corner and said, see you later, boys. I'm not going to be a part of this anymore. And the fact that he lived, they got the Roshan, they killed Gunner. Gunner wasted his own BKB. Yes, they did get a kill there on a BAB, but that's all they've really gotten. And look at how fast this net worth has ballooned out. Like, Snare, this is really, really bad here for Nouns. If they start losing too many more of these heroes and not getting any more of these towers, this Morphling can become an issue for them because they don't really have that much lockdown because he has this Lincoln Sphere. There's no instant blink initiation to try and kill this Morph.
To make matters worse, he's also just picked up this Aghanim Scepter right now, so he is going to be a problem. You know, we were talking about which build is Gunner going to be going for in this game. So far, he hasn't necessarily gone in for the full caster build just yet. At level 10 talent, he got the attack speed, got the D-Lance. He's going for a Blink Dagger next, but for now, he's still a more right-clicking Shadow Fiend. So this Aghanim Scepter is going to be hugely problematic. It's going to suck every single time that he casts it on him.
Yeah. It's going to be really, really hard to deal with as well. There's a lot of heroes that he can just kind of pick and choose what he wants in the team fight as well. Doesn't have an interior, or actually, yes he does. He has an interior to try and play around with. So if he can pick and choose and get into a good position where he can kind of steal some good stuff, I imagine he's almost always going to be chucking this on the Shadow Fiend just because of how annoying the attack speed is going to be to have it stolen from you throughout all of these fights. And I think it's just going to get to a point here where the fact that XM is starting to become an issue, like he has a Dagon 3 right now, so he does a boatload of damage. And if they don't deal with him inside of their BKBs, they're just going to get decrept, they're going to get kited around, they're going to get life drained, and they're going to get zapped. And then at that point, you can't kill any of these heroes, and then it's just going to be the Erica show, I think.
Erica already doing really, really well. He's actually forcing out the tier 3 tower down bottom. Somebody has to come home to respond to this. Gunner and Costabile are occupying the top lane right now, but Erica has already brought the tier 3 tower down to half HP. So every single time they make an adventure on the map, they can actually smoke from this on the side of Vici. They'll know for a fact that these heroes have been drawn out of position, and Z-Freak might be the one that suffers. He gets speared, doesn't connect flush, but still going to be enough to probably end up killing him. And indeed it is. Erica brings him down with the attack. Tombstone, they still have an Aegis for 90 seconds here, Fluke. There's no need to go. Just push going. Most of their wave isn't with them, though, so they might be patient for that.
They were eyeing out Gunner, but as you said, just sticking in towards this mid-tier 2 here. They already did a lot of damage towards that T3 tower on the bottom side as well. I'm looking towards Costa Bile to really see what he's got. Where's the bear floating around? There it is. He just resummoned it. So he's getting close towards a nullifier to try and deal with his secret. Like this is the issue that they've got right now. This Vici Gaming draft, yes, I did say that I liked the 3 cores coming out for them. I didn't realize how much of an issue Decrypt actually was going to be for them. The fact that it is a very, very low cooldown and does so much for them. 3.5 seconds and a 7-second cooldown. So basically it has a 50% uptime. They need some way of dealing with this. They have the Enchantress for the enchant, but that can only go so far. And they need to try and make sure they burst some of these heroes with a lot of this physical damage. So right now, Nouns are going to see if they can get something on the map. They've got their BKBs, they've got their big ultimates. If they can find one of the big members, it's going to be nice.
It would be, but Yang and Frisk are positioned very, very well to try and break these smokes. Frisk will be the first one taking it though. BAB jumps in, Arena will connect onto the Dragon Knight. They've already lost on the Snapfire though. Erica trying to kill Mu before he vacates this fight. Will be able to do so as Yang finds his tombstone being destroyed, but the rest of the Nouns lineup are trying to flee from this fight. Gunner running into the river, Yang just chasing them. But Costa Bile focusing onto Erica on the high ground. Erica forced to waveform away just to stay alive. Yang in the meantime has 3 heroes around him, just gonna draw their attention. There yet again we see the effectiveness of the decrypt. Waste so much time from Nouns. It will allow them to still bring down Yang eventually, but that's only 2 supports in exchange for their offlane DK. However, with the deficit that we're at right now, feels like it was kind of worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it definitely was worth it the way they walked in that fight. It was a little bit unfortunate that they went in just as the Dragon Form went down on Mu as well, so he didn't have that extra bit of damage going into that team fight, but they did a good job just getting that initiation going. Nobody got caught in the arena. None of the important cores got caught in the arena. Yeah, if Mu gets caught out, once he starts getting towards his BKB, he's going to be A-okay about being inside of that arena. But Gunner did a really, really good job at being in the right place at the right time to mean that team fight didn't go bad for them. And the fact that Costa Bile was able to do a lot of work in that team fight up against Erica kind of gives me a little bit of hope here for Nouns, because we look towards both these drafts. Tri-core versus single core. You're always going to be favoring the tri-core as this game starts getting later. And Vici Gaming, they did a really good job to put a lot of pressure onto these towers, but they haven't kind of closed the game out just yet.
They're going to try to do so now, though, as they have smoked up. They read that Costa Bile is occupying this bottom part of the map. Yang, he's not inside the smoke. They find the arena on the bear, so they have to know that he's nearby. The spear doesn't catch him, but it provides the vision, and Erica will be able to burst him down. They take down the life of this lone druid. No bear available for him. No main hero. That's 45 seconds in the grave. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get the full tier 3 tower out of this, but they're certainly going to force Nouns into a position where they have to consider deeply exactly how we defend this bottom lane.
Yeah, it's always scary. Now, they don't have the arena, though, for Vici Gaming, so I don't think Nouns are going to be all too sad about just trying to put some heroes here and have the risk of them getting stuck. They always have to be careful, though, of BAB just steering somebody into the tower, into the racks. And this is what I talked about with a lot of this kind of aerial denial. Like, walking in towards Vici Gaming's Tombstone and the Nether Ward is going to be oh so hard for you to try and deal with. And they're just going to slowly tip down this tier 3 tower. And as long as they don't get caught out, go a little bit too far, this is going to be a further than racks, I think.
They're actually doing it. The glyph will be popped again. Honestly, I hate this new mechanic. Makes games take so much longer than they need to, but it is what it is. The dictates of the frog we must all live by. Lelerak's not very far away from being brought down here. Only 600 HP remaining. Vici Gaming don't have the safety of an Aegis, but they do have the offensive prowess of a double damage rune on Morphling. A couple of right clicks and into a waveform out would do wonders for them, really. They're trying to force this. Yang drops down the tombstone to find some vision in the trees and ensure that Erica can walk up, can get these hits, and he is gonna try and get out. He waveformed already. Will end up getting stunned up at the same time. BAB jumps on the backlines. They're looking for this lone druid. Not going to be able to find him just yet. Morty's kiss is flying through, though, from Frisk to bring down Mu, as the DK is the first casualty of this little fray. Yang is going to follow him into the grave as we get a huge scatter blast coming in from Frisk to help bring down the Mu Dragon Knight. So with these 2 core heroes brought down on the side of Nouns and no buyback on the lone druid, Fluke, are they just going to take a second lane of Raxor for this?
I definitely think they are. Yang with the Giga Chad play, just standing up on the high ground, drops the tombstone and says, alright, let's go for a team fight. And now there's no buyback on this lone druid. Mu does have buyback as well if they lose Z-Freak here. Yeah, I think this might be done. I talked about, a minute ago, Snare, that they hadn't closed the game out just yet. And Vici Gaming were like, alright, bet. and now they're going to get it done in a few minutes.
They're like, Fluke, say less. We got you, fam. Here we go. Second lane of racks taken. Vici Gaming in complete control of this game. They can't get the megas just yet, as we still have a tier 2 tower in the top lane. But they have complete commanding presence everywhere. And one of the main issues is that this lone druid, Kostabile, just has no tank ability. He just feels like he doesn't even have presence. Even with the true form, more than once we've seen them watch him almost die. He uses true form and they're like, okay, that's just more health for us to get through, but we can get through it so quickly that we don't really care. Burst it down once more. The same is true of Mu as well. He just keeps getting drained to death. And he's so far away from BKB either. There's no way for him to actually counterplay XM at the moment.
Yeah, I just feel like that this Tricore just hadn't really hit those timings until Vici Gaming really kind of put the pedal to the metal. Like, Erica did a really good job at just dodging a lot of these fights until he felt like he was in a really good position. He always just took a lot of those pickoffs that he could have been involved in without any risk to himself, catching out Mu in the bottom side of the map, just kind of being in this bottom side of the map permanently, while we knew that now it's really want to try and play around that Roche pit, trying to play around the top side of the map. Vici Gaming did a really, really good job at just giving Erica that space until he now becomes an issue for them to deal with. And same with XM. Like, XM has been playing one of the most flawless Pugna games I've ever seen. He's got a Dagon 5 now. He's got his Ethelens. He's going to have his own Lincolns. Like, how are you supposed to deal with this Vici Gaming draft?
Well, nouns are going to try with the wraparound smoke on this. Yeah, they have the vision onto Yang, but Yang got even better vision. He has an observer ward and just dropped down the tombstone. Kostabile expends the nullifier onto the Undying, so he's going to eat so much damage from the Morty's kisses. Lone Druid already gone from the fight. Erica did activate a BKB. BAB also finds the arena onto Gunner. Gunner tried to get out of it, but not going to be allowed to do so. Gets off a BKB at long last, hoping to turn around onto the Mars, but realizing that he cannot actually stand and fight. Mu now caught out by Erica and BAB will be speared back towards the rest of the squad so that they have enough damage to kill this DK. But Gunner blinks up with the Requiem. It's not going to be enough though. These Vici heroes are just too damn tanky as he ends up losing his life. Mu brought back. But my friend, I think you're getting an express trip right back to the fountain where you came from. And with that death, nouns realize there's nothing more to play for and they throw in the towel. GG, well played is called. Vici Gaming will claim game number 1 here in this lower bracket elimination game of the last chance qualifiers.
So now we talked about it. We both said that we liked nouns here, and then nouns lose in 31 minutes. So I